Well, hello there. I figured I was going to do a video today as I thought about it, and get going again at the same time. Yesterday came up with a pretty good video idea, I thought, of what to bring. Well, first let me put this up in there, in the front of the video, since it doesn't seem to get any attention when it's on the back side of the video or descriptions. We do have a Discord. It is real easy. Discord.gg/handies. So it's discord.gg/my name. Gotta love those easy links. And there's a lot, it's rough, so I'm going slow to keep me from bouncing out. I don't know if you guys saw that hole. I know you guys just saw the whole truck just rock away. Yeah, this a lot, man. I came in here to clean my windshield because I had like 1,000 bugs, no exaggeration, in like my last hour of driving last night, and I was like, oh my god, I can't see. I can't do a video with that because what the hell with the Seattle like a plastic, windshield. But okay. There we go. I like to have both the mirrors inside. Now, what should you bring out onto the road as an OTR driver, besides the basic necessities such as clothes and food? Which food is also a bit of a challenge itself because you can't eat like you were at home, but there's ways around it if you just prep it and plan. Not really prep, but plan. Just kind of have a willing to adapt. You need to be able to adapt to a lot of things as a trucker. Oh, I hate truck stops like this where you can't see shit coming out. At the mercy of other people letting you out. Alright, so besides food and clothes, what should you bring? Let's see. The very first thing your first paycheck you should buy your first paycheck is a truck GPS. You can temporarily get by if your company provides something, but unless you really know how your truck's how a truck drives around and how to judge with the streets by Google Maps, you're gonna be really hurting if you don't have a truck GPS. Like I said, you can get by, but it's gonna save you so much headache, especially if you're new, that it's just easier to spend $200 to $500 just to get one. I'm not gonna tell you which one to get. I'm not gonna tell you how much money you spend. It's on you. Mine costs $500, but mine is also a tablet too. So you could also, if you have a tablet, you could always just get like get an app, and that's like the trucking app that has GPS built in, and there you go. There's a few of them. Like there's one that costs $20 a month. But then do you want to pay a sub, or do you just want to play with that fee? They each have their own pros and cons. Let's see. So moving on, let's start with like if you're from a non-winter area, and that area doesn't get too cold, you're gonna want a heavy jacket. A ski coat is very good. A ski coat that has a liner, meaning like a down alternative, something that's insulated inside, not just a plastic coat. You actually want something that's gonna, kind of like a good beanie. I really wish I could show you this when I'm not driving, but you want a ski coat. The reason why is because they're warm, they're thick, they're really good for blocking out wind, and truckers go through many different environments from the same day. For example, Wyoming, okay? Wyoming, 2 days can be 90 degrees in my town. Monday through Tuesday is going to be no warmer than 40, and then it's all supposed to dump snow. There you go. There's a prime example of why you're going to want a heavy coat. Not so much during the summer, unless you always just keep it in your truck, but like I would say from September well, late August. Let's say late August to, I'd say June, just to be safe. That sounds crazy, but up in the Rockies, they still get snow. Like last year, Laramie, Wyoming got 8 inches of snow middle of June. So you want to have that extra warmth just in case you need it. You're gonna want a pair of sneakers, something that's comfortable driving, breathable, something that doesn't make your feet just sweat during the warm days. And you're also gonna want a good pair of boots. I want to say boots that go over your ankles, but something that's gonna provide you grip, warmth, and stability during the winter. Like especially if you gotta actually climb on icy lots, you gotta climb around your truck to chain up. You should always have a pair of backup shoes anyway. So I've had I didn't see a puddle and I stepped outside and got my whole shoe soaked and got in the truck and swapped shoes. That day would have sucked if I didn't have a pair of backup shoes. Work gloves. You're gonna go through gloves pretty quickly. So I would recommend having a winter pair, meaning insulated. And I bought a $25 just basic mechanics glove from Home Depot. I'd have 2 or 3 of those at the back of the trucks. But really, find a pair of work gloves that you think are going to last you a while. You're always going to be wearing your work gloves, do anything outside your truck, and anytime you touch fuel pumps. Once you get, especially if you're not, anybody's watching this video, probably most likely going to be new to OTR or new to the field. So a lot of this will make sense once you get out here and you'll see why. I would also recommend having a lighter jacket. A hoodie isn't really going to cut it, so I would get a soft shell jacket. So, soft shell. And it should hug your body. It should be more form-fitting. Because that way it keeps the heat in. The beanie's important too, and not your typical like $15 Walmart beanie. You want something that has a good liner in the inside. I have a skull cap. It has like a wool down alternative inside because you want that liner. That liner is also going to help keep the heat in. Here's how you stay warm: keep your head, your hands, and your feet warm, and you generally stay warm. I'm from Wyoming. I'm used to 50 to 8 mile an hour winds in the winter. If I can stay warm in that, for the most part, if you follow my guidelines for staying warm, you can stay warm. I'm not a big guy, so it takes a lot for me to stay warm. I am only 6 foot, 130 pounds, so for me to stay warm, it takes a bit of effort. If you're a big guy, you're not going to use your time staying warm, but if you're like me, or average, you're going to need some effort to stay warm, especially if you're not used to it. If you're not used to the environment, it will eat you up. There are certain states here that would it's pretty hard to dress to stay warm too. So let's see, we covered, okay. I would have a 5-subject notebook. It's going to be a good enough to last you for the year. Or maybe, it should last you the year. Reason why, you want to keep hard copies of all your loads. So, for example, Night Transportation, they use order numbers, and that order number is the number we put all the bills and everything under for that load. So you want, like, when I use my hard copy, I write that order number down, the mileage, and the to and from, and the other numbers that come with the load. That way, in case there's a pay discrepancy, all I gotta do is look back and be like, oh, this is the load I didn't get paid for, or this load, the pay seems a little bit off. So that's you're gonna have, like, any load I do, I write it down. And it's a good habit. It's gonna save you some headache later, especially when there's a record discrepancy. You can just trace it and save yourself a lot of headaches. Company's not gonna do it on purpose, but it will happen because a lot of the pay is manual based, and that you're not the only driver they go through. So it takes, sometimes things get stuck in the system, or sometimes things will just get overlooked. Okay, so let's see. You're gonna want some snack foods. I know I said basic necessity foods didn't count, but you're gonna want something in case you get like stranded or ship for days. you want non-perishable foods. Protein bars are great. Because this winter, you're going to get shut down somewhere for a day or two. Unless your company will let you detour like hundreds of miles out of their way to try to get around it. But you don't always have that option. Let's say you're going from California, in Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and that Oregon corner, it's getting snow. You can't detour around it. You got to go up in there, and you're just got to hope for the best that you don't get shut down. Especially if you get shut down for days. Because like Wyoming can be shut down in a couple hours to a week. It just depends on how people behaving. But yeah, so I would also recommend this is for people that will let their mind get to them and get stuck inside their head. Because this job isn't really physically tough; it is mentally hard. This job will eat you alive if you let it. And there's ways to help not let that happen. But this is one thing I've noticed that nobody really talks about. This job is not physically hard; it is mentally hard. Because you're away from your families, you're away from your loved ones, you're away from the life you've had. We're anywhere from OTR, you're not going to be home daily. You might go home every other week or every 2 weeks if your company lets you. Usually they want you out like 3 weeks. But me, I'm pretty much going to stay out longer. But there's ways to let it to where staying out longer won't affect you as much. Because the way it is, especially with those who get stuck in your head, the more you sit there and think, the more it's going to fuck you up. So the best way to do that is to find ways and things to keep your mind thinking about something else. So when you're moving in the shop, it's easy. You're focused on driving. But when you're sitting, it's harder. So, I mean, you're going to want, I'd pay for a lot of things. You're going to want like Netflix, you're going to want Hulu, Amazon Prime, you're going to want music, YouTube. Get yourself a tablet, so you can stream things, Bluetooth wise, and you're driving like I do. Because this job will fuck your mind up if you let it. It's a bit of adjustment, and even then when you're adjustment, humans aren't meant to be this secluded from things, and like there's a lot of these truckers, they either lose themselves or some of them find ways to handle it. You can always tell who the ones are that haven't found a way to handle the loneliness out here. Job's pretty great though. You got to be made for it though, really. Can you adapt? Yeah, sure, but you need to have the personality to be able to adapt. Because this job is all about adapting. But like, you have a pet. Your company, find a company that's gonna let you bring your pet. You might most likely won't be able to bring it out right away. Like I have a cat with me now. It took 90 days. Well, it took 30,000 miles because they want to see if you can drive out being distracted. You're gonna have issues. Like they don't want you having a pet if you can't even if you're already having hitting shit and already having issues on the road already. So they want to see how you are first before they want you to bring your pet out. Same thing with a person. Like most companies that allow you to have a pet, they'll allow you to have a rider. But same rules are gonna apply. Not all companies provide a microwave or a fridge. So if your company does not, I would definitely buy a microwave, and I would buy a good cooler. Downside of that is it's going to cost you some money each month, but it pays off, especially if you can store some food and drinks. You get what you pay for in a cooler. $20 5-quart cooler is going to cost you a lot more than a $50 5-quart cooler. You want the insulation, so you get what you pay for. Like I bought a Lifetime cooler. It was like a 77-quart cooler, and it was like $150, and it held ice for damn near a week, like almost 5 days that it would hold ice. And by the fourth day, it would be about half full. So when you dump that water, you're looking about a third ice still left. So I mean, you get what you pay for. And I was sitting in the passenger seat getting blasted by the summer heat, the sun, all day, every day. I would also recommend bringing sheets, okay, the usual bed size, most likely your bed size in the truck to be a twin XL. So you want sheets, a good pillow. A good pillow will make or break your back, especially in this job. And a light blanket and a heavy blanket. A lot of these companies have a idle pole. A thing in the truck that they have the truck programs that is between certain temperatures, the truck will shut off. So you're gonna want something to help you, stay warm or stay cool. Most of these trucks have room to mount a 27-inch TV. A lot of the good companies give you the mounting bracket already installed in the truck, so bring that. Because anybody tells you you don't have time to watch TV, you don't have time to game, is full of shit. This job's all about managing time. You don't have to run 10 to 11 hours a day every day. Some loads you're gonna need to make up time, or but most of the loads, if you plan it out good enough, 5 to 550 miles per day is going to let you get there on time, and most likely even early if you can plan. The whole point of the job is to get there on time, be a reliable driver. You do that, your company's going to take care of you. But also just keep your door shut. And just pretty much be a good person and do your job. The one thing you're required to do. This company is trusting you with millions of liability. You need, it amazes me how many slobs are out here. Just dress like you're at your normal job. Like a normal job. This job's not normal, but wear clothes that fit. Don't flip-flops. Flip-flops should not be in your truck. They should not. Bring actual shoes. Tie your shoes. Now, if you're just getting out of the truck to take a leak on the side of the road, you don't need to tie your shoes. But just dress like a normal person. I would recommend having some, headache things. So whether it's Sedran, Tylenol, ibuprofen, I would recommend having that in tubs. You're going to want some paper towels. I bring out about 8-pack, should last you quite a bit. Again, to get what you pay for, though, I'm all about buying quality, so you get what you pay for. I buy Bounty, mega rolls. It lasts me, one roll will last me damn near 2 months. So you would pay for. I would recommend buying filtered water, like the 1 gallon jugs of water. They're really good. Especially with pet, good for that. I use those to brush my teeth on the side of the road because I'm not always at a truck stop. I rarely ever park when I'm at a truck stop. I try to keep I like to sleep down to a minimum because that way it doesn't get crowded. Because if I need to sleep, right now I know it's usually there's empty where I go. So I try to keep on down minimum, or I sleep down to a minimum, but maybe that will change the time. The rest stops are usually pretty good, but you don't want to wait too long getting there because they will fill up at the truck stops. Truck stops are filling up first, rest stops are second. Unless it's in the rest of smaller like Nebraska, fucking Nebraska, with their rest stops. God, I hate those ones. But they're tiny because they're designed for 2-row parking or 1 row, and so they're designed for parallel parking. And no, they didn't redesign those to where they get more trucks in. Especially when they're in summer, they get smaller because all these fucking RVs, all these little pickups, SUVs, like a little U-Haul, hitch U-Haul, takes up 70 feet of room. It's dude, you can literally go park up the car parking and be just fine. I've already gotten on a guy, to be fair, he broke down, but all the spots were full, he was in the one spot. So I was like, dude, how about this? I got out and I helped push him to the front of the trucks. It wasn't in the way, but that way I could park, because I had nowhere to park. People are very courteous. I mean, find a spot that works for you to sleep. Pre-planning is not done. Okay, we sort of pre-plan a little bit in day one, but like right now I'm on a 2,300 mile trip. You cannot pre-plan the whole 2,300 mile trip in one day. Too many things to change, too many variables. So you kind of get yourself an idea of what you're gonna do day one before you head out, and then you adjust it over time. You look at it each day and adjust. For example, like this trip I'm doing. My goal is minimum 500 miles per day. That's where, like 500 miles, right where I should probably gonna be stopping. Due to like how this trip is, like this trip doesn't get delivered till Monday, and I'm already over halfway there. So I started Thursday, so 300 miles. See, delivers Monday, 500 miles per day. I'm gonna be early, although I'm probably gonna be late to my second appointment because it is 2.5 hour drive for my first appointment. It's a 2-load drop. My first drop to my second drop, and I'm reefer. So unless they get me out right away within an hour, I'm not making the 4 o'clock from a 2 o'clock. So, but alright. So this video's gonna be a little long, but obviously, I would get either AT&T or Verizon for your cell phone provider. Smartphone is highly recommended out here. My company does a lot of the things through an app, along with their tablet system, but not all companies do that. Some still use a Qualcomm, which a lot of these companies are also starting to put an app on the phone, so a lot of people just go through the app. Like, when I'm writing down my loads, I don't go through the tablet, because the tablet shows like 3 pages for all load information. When the phone, I can see it all at once. I would definitely recommend bringing out here, because this is assuming you got a solo truck. You're getting a solo truck. So as you get out from the trainer, still bring with you your patience. Even if you gotta learn to be patient, you need to quickly get that. People are gonna literally try to kill you out here. So you're gonna want to be patient and develop that patience if you don't have it as well yet. Driving jobs, when I started driving, not truck, but just doing driving jobs, period, I tell people, especially when I was doing 500 miles a day, 100,000 miles a year, doing that job, and a full highway. I would always tell people, because they'd ask me, how do you do it? You learn to manage yourself, or you will get yourself killed. You can't let people get to you and react to something that you're gonna regret later. Because this job can also ruin your life too, if something bad happens because of your emotions. I thought this guy's loaded. Yeah. But no, so you're gonna want the patience, that adaptability, like I talked about. Because this job, especially with reefer, it's a little bit, you gotta adapt more. But dry van is mostly drop and hook, but there is some live unloads. But dry van has some more flexibility during your day for the loads. Like you don't always have to be like pinned on the spot. Like dry van has like a 12-hour window between here midnight and 12 p.m. or from 1 a.m. to midnight. So you got that flexibility. With reefer though, we usually have appointment times, and you're trying to make it before that appointment time if you're early, so it looks good. But you can't be. Most places don't want you there more than 30 or 40 minutes early. So it's very rare you're allowed to be there more than an hour early. And if you're late, you better hopefully your produce load or fruit load or something more valuable, because then they're getting you in, and they're most likely not going to reject you. Now, what should you do? It depends. But that's a different video. So, yeah, I get sidetracked too easily. So, okay, what else? So we already covered, we're gonna go over this game. I already covered the notebook, the GPS, the phone, the basic necessities, the bedding. Oh, okay. I would recommend having probably 6 or 8 of each 2-foot bungees and 1-foot bungees, and maybe like 5 shorter bungees where Reason why, when you chain, sometimes they break. You're gonna want those. It helps keep your chains on. It also helps, like, for example, if you got a fridge that likes to open itself, or a cabinet, you can budget it shut. My fridge likes to randomly open itself, and I now have bungees going from vent to vent to keep the door, in other than open. So there's that. I would also have a couple ratchet straps. Again, things like to fly. Things will fly in this truck. So that helps keep things secure, especially if you're like me and you buy, bulk drinks. Like I buy a bump and a half of the drinks and put them on top bunk. Well, as that storage starts getting lower, things will move around more up there. So now I have to strap them in more. So now the net doesn't exactly flex perfectly. When there's full up there, I use a net that keeps the net will keep it down. But as it starts, things start sliding around up there because it's starting to get lower. Yeah, then the net, they can squeeze through the net. If your company gives you a shitty box spring mattress, I would buy a topper. You're gonna want one probably 3 or 4 inches thick. That's about $60 to $70. Definitely worth it. Your enjoyment of this job also depends on your ability to sleep. Because this truck will beat your back up. That's why I said a good pellet earlier. And I'm talking about a good pellet depends on how you sleep. Your side sleeper, you want a pellet that's probably 6 or 7 inches thick. That holds its form, so foam in the pillow. That's what I use. If you're a back sleeper, you're gonna want probably one that's about, depending how big you are too, I would say about 6 inches. If you're stomach sleeper, you're just gonna have a bad time in the shop because your back's gonna have no support ever. So taking care of yourself out here doesn't matter. How can you stay in shape out here? Well, there's plenty of time to walk around. I would maybe bring resistance bands. I didn't write all this list down, so I'm going based off, that's I'm telling you as I drive and remember. Let's see. So right now you need a mask because everywhere you go you're gonna need a mask. So get used to putting that on. You're gonna really need to understand that your first year is gonna be the hardest year ever. Like it's because you're still having to learn things like timing. Timing on your backing is probably the hardest thing to get down all the way. And you're never gonna have this job mastered. This job, if you're not always learning and always getting better at something or getting more efficient, you need to get hours. So I would also, that's just the whole adaptability. You need to be able to adapt and learn and understand you're not perfect and you're never gonna master this job. But this job's pretty great though. I get paid to travel, not experience things, but I get paid to travel. You're gonna notice a lot of things. This truck to my left, I don't know if you see him in the mirror. As I get distracted by him, he came up on me hauling ass, and he slowed down. He started facing me, and then he started picking his face back up. People do that all the fucking time, and it's gonna bug the hell out of you. But see how he's distracted? He's been reaching over, in his seat. It looks like he's got a kid or something. It's like look in the back seat. Obviously his head's in there, but looks like he's got a kid. I don't know. He was doing something. And I'm off the train of thought. But really, if you can just not oversleep. Like the company doesn't expect you to go to bed and then wake up and go right out there. Well, that really comes down to how can you manage your time. If you're great at managing your time, managing yourself, this job's gonna be good. It's gonna be great for you because you'll have you're gonna deal a lot with your drive manager. But really, if you just kind of do your job, stick to yourself, and just be a good worker. The company's gonna like literally just not pay attention to you. They're only gonna call you up if there's issues with the load, or the shipper, or the consignee, or the broker, or them are having issues, and they're like this load. They want it at a pinpoint, on the spot of where I'll stop for the day, where I was going, what time I was gonna be there. Because for some reason, 2,300 miles, they thought they were telling my DM that I was never gonna make it on time. This load left Salt Lake Thursday. It's going 2,300 miles at 500 miles per day. It's making it. It's going to be early, at least to the first stop. The second window, that's on them. But you got to understand though too. This is why I said you want to bring something out there to also keep my busy, because there's going to be things in this field out here that are out of your control. My first solo night, literally my first solo night. I'm loaded. I am fully loaded. 43,000 pounds doing a Costco load, going from Salt Lake to Denver. I'm up my home turf. I'm up in Wyoming. I know my state. I know how to drive middle of the winter, and how the roads are going to react to me. I know what I need to do in certain spots. Because each spot in certain states have their own way the weather and the snow and the wind reacts. Like, pro tip, wind will roll down hills. Wind does use gravity. It will slow up a hill. It will squeeze through between the tractor and the trailer and slap you. So, yeah, there are things you're going to have to learn that you won't really know until you experience it. So you gotta be able to understand things and know how to read it. But oh yeah, so back to my solo night. So I'm cruising, it starts snowing as I hit Wyoming. Even if it's just flurries, and it starts picking up slowly, and then it starts slinking on the road. I still have traction, I'm not worried. But the snow's starting to get thicker, still not worried. Because 19 years in Wyoming, I better know how to drive in my own state, especially in the shitty weather. I crest a hill, I see a U-Haul spun off the side of the road on the shoulder. He's off the road. First sign, it's getting slick and start getting off it. That's the first sign. I start paying more attention. Now, I was paying attention, but I start paying extra attention. I crest a hill, about 30 minutes later, and I see a long line, approximately 10 miles of stainless steel. I knew something was up. I ended up sitting at that spot for 5 hours. 10 trucks went up the side of the road. You can get away with more in shitty weather if you're heavy, but the lighter you are, and I'm talking about heavy meaning 35 is still considered light to me if it's windy, but you're decently loaded. Now, if you're 40 plus, yeah, you're gonna be able to take more views up to a certain point. But if you're under 30, you're gonna have a rough time on ice. You're gonna have a rough time in the wind, especially in Wyoming. So there is time to think about when you want to pull over and say, hey, I need to wait till clears up a little bit, or the wind dies down. Don't let your DM tell you, no, you need to get going again. If you're gonna pull over though, the very first thing you do though after you stop is call your DM, call your company, let them know I'm not comfortable enough to keep going. It is starting to get pretty nasty out here. Let them know, that way they can get the load adjusted for you, the delivery or the pickup, whatever. Let them know. If you work with the company will work with you. Honestly, it takes a lot to get fired from this company. You gotta really fuck up to get fired. Because companies will do everything in their power. Like, my company has bent over backwards to work with me. That's the reason why I stick around at night. Like, I'm probably gonna be an owner op with them, because that's my goal, is to owner op. There's sacrifices, but you got, just work with the company. That's what you gotta understand when you come out here. Sure, you got no boss looking over your shoulder, you got no boss right there with you. But that also means you have the responsibility to call. You gotta call when there's issues. Swallow your pride. If you fuck up, let's say you hit a trailer or hit a truck, or let's say even if you hit yourself. Oh call your company, trust me, they catch it later and you didn't report it, you're most likely going to get even more fucked over for it. Hell, I did damage myself my first one solo. I was told, hey, what could you have done? They actually walked with me in the scenario. What could you have done? What did you do? So they want to help you learn too, so they obviously so it doesn't happen again. My fuck up was minor. My first fuck up was getting stuck in mud. That happens quite a bit. Like, the common mistakes you're gonna make are common for a reason. Especially as a rookie in your first, let's say your first 3 months. They're very common for a reason. There's certain things your trainer, honestly, she's not a driver. He's just showing you how he drives, he does things. Not necessarily will work for you. You gotta, call and ask. If something happens, call. This job, though, if you take it seriously enough, you don't have to be like super serious, no fun business allowed. But if you take it serious enough, you'd be surprised how enjoyable this job is. Well, there is a bit of the enjoyability of the job depending on the truck you get. Like, I had an International. It was a little harder to enjoy the job because of all the perks. That's Freightliner, and I'm enjoying it more because it's more my style. Most of them is going to be a choice, but you don't always have the choice of what truck you want. I haven't missed anything though. I mean, on the clothes, you're gonna want clothes that covers multiple seasons. So I've already covered that. Gloves, But I think that's pretty much it. This video was a little bit, distracting a bit, so I was trying to keep it kind of focused. Not looking good at that yet. But hey, if you guys leave comments, if any other videos you want to help me keep me focused on certain subjects, I'll make videos about things that you guys want. But like I said to you, that discord.ggs/handies, come join there. I'm the only trucker in there, but we got a few guys. There's also, I also use that Discord for our group I game with. And so there's that. I keep that separate though from the Discord Discord community, like for this. But there's non-truckers in there, so like there's a section you post your pictures. You can even just tell stories. Don't be afraid to ask questions though. If I can answer them, I will. I'm pretty friendly for the most part. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next time, and you guys remember, rubber down, stay safe.